is.
Yeah. But
Ben, why did you pick it?
Yeah, Ben, why did you pick it?
No preamble whatsoever. Ben, why'd you pick it? Tell us now.
But, the Muppets Christmas Carol has always been like a film of my childhood for like since I could remember. I don't think I saw it in the cinema, but I saw it when roughly around the time it came out, at least on TV or something. And obviously, the Christmas Carol, as we all know, is like a classic Charles Dickens story that we all are so familiar with. Every adaptation has its merits, but I think this is one of the strongest ones, just because of how earnest it was and how much humor and heart and love went into this version, and how it blended so well with the Muppets sensibilities. And it's something that struck with me ever since I saw it, because obviously I grew up with the Muppets and Sesame Street and all the Jim Henson creations. So this film always had a soft spot for me. And I have like lots of great fond memories of this story. And it still holds up to this day. 30 years later, I feel it's just as fun and heartwarming and enjoyable as it ever was. And one of Michael Caine's best films, I think we all can agree.
It's up there.
Singular. Definitely singular.
The only one.
And just like has surprisingly good songs that really hold up even more than you think. And I was like, oh, I forgot how good the soundtrack was, and I forgot how good, like, how self-aware it was as well, like how the Muppets kind of like riff on themselves and riff on the story. There's just so much to just smile about in this film, and it just will always make you happy and give you good Christmas vibes whenever you put it on. No matter how old you are, you'll always stand up, I think. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, I watched this when I was quite young, and I remembered like pretty much everything exactly as it was, but like it was all still there, and I laughed pretty much the whole way through. I was just like, man, the jokes in here are just fucking relentless. Like, big fan. And yeah, I was, like you said, it's an old film that just holds up. Like, there's no bones about it.
Yeah.
Oh, quick question: did you guys, when you guys watched this on VHS or DVD or whenever, did you watch it with the missing song or without the missing song?
There's a missing.
That's an interesting question, actually.
Yeah,
Yes,
there was that song, wasn't it?
Yeah, the Prince Charles Cinema screened it with the song.
Good.
Okay. Because, like, when I was a kid, I didn't know about Love Is Gone. That's this missing song, that scene, right? And I was like, when I watched it on the Disney Plus, and I was like, all right, it actually has the song included in it. I was like, I've never really watched it. I've seen clips of the song itself, but I've never really watched it together with the movie. So I watched it together, and I was like, this is only like 2.5 minutes, right? But I was like, this makes so much more sense of how the film goes. It actually makes the film better. I was like, I didn't realize why they cut it out. Was it ever explained why they removed the song?
Basically, the person who was directing it, or one of the Warner Brothers executives, said that the song was too sad and they didn't really want it in a kids' film. So the director was against taking it out, but this bloke took it out. But in the theatrical release, they took the song out, but in the VHS copy of it, they kept it in.
Yeah, but
and then when it
then
went to DVD, they took it out again. And then I think when they went to Blu-ray, it was a special kind of feature where you could watch it. Because I only realised this because when I watched it again, I must have watched the VHS copy of it, like, I don't know, back when. But I didn't realise the song wasn't in the film. And then when I've gone through, I'm like, why is there an extended cut version of it? And I'm like, what's this? What's this bullshittery? And then I read into like the backstory. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
I had no knowledge of this.
Yes.
So did you watch? So which versions did you all watch? Because I watched the version that had the extra song. Did you guys?
I watched the.
I watched the one
Disney
on Disney Plus. I thought it was.
because
I think the one on Disney
Blu-ray's
Plus
hard to
has it.
find.
So
It's
I
the,
watched.
it's the song that when they go back to Michael Caine's ex,
Yeah,
and
it's
she
the,
sings
it's
about them breaking up.
the flashback from the Christmas past takes them back to basically Scrooge meets his ex fiance,
Yeah.
and that's the
Yeah.
song, isn't it?
I can't
Oh.
really imagine the film without that. It feels quite crucial.
Yeah, I don't know why they cut it. It's like it's that's head.
Mine didn't have that.
What really
didn't have
gets
it?
me?
No, Disney Plus didn't have. No.
It's not on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
No, it's on Disney Plus. I watched it on Disney Plus with the
Yeah.
song in it.
So on
Really?
Disney Plus, they've got two versions. They've got the uncut and the
Oh.
regular
Really?
one.
I didn't even
Hmm.
notice.
And the reason I watched the regular one without the song in it is because when I googled it and I clicked on it, it automatically took me to the one without the song. But
Okay.
yeah, if you go in Disney and you look at the film, it's got like the song on its own, and then it's got an extended version.
Okay, fair enough.
But what I don't understand about this whole thing about them taking the song out because it's too sad for children. There's a whole bit in it where they've got basically the Grim Reaper
Yeah,
going around again. This is how you're gonna die.
exactly. It's like
really
I
sick
must admit,
child's gonna
that
die
was
because
chapter.
you're a bastard, and it's just like, yeah, this is not very kid friendly.
I'd have
What?
preferred you as him, to be fair. Just like, you're going to die. You fucking old bastard.
the
They're
Grim.
gonna laugh at you.
I must admit, though, like I nearly. I mean, I didn't because I love it so much, but I nearly took half a point off the purpose, just because when they get to the bit with the ghost of Christmas yet to come, and they're all like, "Oh, this bit's really scary." I was like, "This is nowhere. This is not haunting in my dreams like the ghost of Christmas past was." Like that little thing was
What?
terrifying.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Have you
She
not
was
watched
like,
the labyrinth or the Black
Exactly.
Crystal
She's
and
just like a
Feathers?
character from that. The Labyrinth
Yeah,
of
they're
Dark
just-
Crystal.
I hate it, man. It gives me the chills.
I never
She's
realised how
Dark
creepy
Crystal,
it was. When I watched it again, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
I
I
didn't
don't
remember that
like
it
those
was-
anyway.
I don't remember it was a Muppet. I thought it was a kid, like in my memory. But
To be
Muppet
fair,
Kid.
you could mistake it for a kid because it's all like Vaseline lens, isn't it?
You could
Right.
say a Cabbage
Fucking-
Patch Kid.
But it is terrifying.
why did you
Ah.
make me blast past a pick
West
number
Ham?
5?
I'm confused.
Well,
Was that Ghost of Christmas Past or something else?
yeah,
Yeah, the ghost
The
of Christmas
ghost,
past,
it's-
like
it's
the
like the-
weird little ginger kid.
yeah,
the
Little
floaty
doll.
one and the like flamey like.
Yeah,
the
it's like,
emotionless doll that's floating
it's,
around.
it's not a kid.
No, it's a Muppet.
Yeah, a man or a Muppet.
oh, it doesn't look like a Muppet. It looks too much like a human.
Yeah,
It's
That's-
fucking
that's-
horrible.
That's the uncanny valley.
No,
Uncanny
because
valley
it's
sort of-
Uncanny Valley. That's what you don't like about it. Right?
I-
Isn't it?
No, it's just
I
fucking
enjoy the
weird.
Uncanny Valley being used for a Muppet. That's great.
Yeah.
A Muppet in a 1990s film.
No, that thing really creeped me out.
Sorry, Dan, I can't see two versions
Yeah.
on Disney Plus.
Really?
Some of us don't use Twitter for all our news.
Jesus Christ! Fuck off, Jesus Christ.
I went search instead of history. But like only one comes up when I click on the one that
Yeah,
we
it's-
watch.
Did you go to special features?
Yeah, go to special features. Or there's
you-
like add-on whatever. Christmas Carol. I'm on the browser.
Up-
But you go
delete-
you go
oh.
extras and there's a full length version.
Oh,
Yeah, I watched the like full length
Still.
version because I always watched like the edited version like on like since forever, since on like
Oh,
VHS.
yeah.
So it was quite nice to see it because it kind of like refreshed the movie. It's like, oh, this is like obviously the same stuff I always grew up with, but this is new, so it makes it more exciting
It's mad. The actual song on the
again. Which is
that
like
extra.
kind of the point of this version of like A Christmas Carol, I guess. It's like to do like this is very close. Like they literally take quotes from the book and
yeah.
they give it like such like drama and emphasis, especially with Michael Caine in this movie. but because the Muppets are there, you break the pacing, but they do it in a way that's really really good, because obviously the story gets a bit spooky and scary for, as they say, for the kids. But like as Gonzo says, nah, it's just culture. They'll get used to it. It's fine. And it's like, okay, it's so perfect for certain these things, right? And it's like it makes the film better. But admittedly, I apologize for giving the story score a bit lower, because I wasn't sure if like the story is good because the Muppets is good, or because Christmas Carol is good, because like there's different versions of Christmas Carol I've watched a lot, and it's like
sorry,
no, because like it's like I like this version a lot, I really do, but it's like I've seen other versions where there's certain scenes that are better than this one, but it's like, but this one overall is better, but like certain scenes just like, oh, just like it's acted differently. That's the like the framing and the music and everything else is a bit different. It's like but it's still.
I would say that it's like I would say it's the best Christmas film of all time, because The Christmas Carol is like that classic Christmas story, and it's also like one of the best trade unionist pieces of literature of all time as well. And then you've also got you've got all of that, which is
she'd bring
already.
up fucking trade unionists.
You've got all that awesome stuff already, and then you've got the fucking Muppets. So it's just like, well, I don't know how you can top that.
I think that's the thing. Like whether it's like good because of the Christmas Carol or because of the Muppets, it's both. The story is still thoroughly intact, but they've weaved like the jokes in. It's all kind of dependent on which Muppet they've chosen to do this little bit, like the bit with Sam the Eagle, and he's like, "It is the American way," and Gonzo comes and he goes, "Sam." He's like, "It is the British way," and it's like they're all little in jokes, but like it's also still just, I don't know, it's also still just funny on its own, like without you even having seen. This could be your first Muppets movie, and you'd still be laughing.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because like you still get the Christmas Carol story, but it's presented in a way as if it's like a bunch of toddlers doing a school play, and because it's the Muppets, that's really funny. So you get the message of the story, which is great, and you also get the humor of the Muppets. And
I think the magic of it is you kind of forget that like it's not normal for Muppets to just be walking around.
Yeah.
Watching it, you just go, I'm watching a film about a reality that's inhabited by like half people and half Muppets, and like you just kind of fucking forget that you're watching Muppets. You just, because like the idea, right, that you're kind of getting a bit misty-eyed over like a fucking sock puppet with two ping pong balls losing his son prematurely, and I'm going like it's like he's a bloke. It's a bloke's hand doing that, and I'm going like, fuck me, man. I hope his kid's okay.
And like the question, when you question that Miss Piggy and Kermit's children are either frogs or pigs, not some horrible hybrid.
I would also like to point out actually, it's actually kind of it's kind of funny that Rob's got his Star Wars thing on, because Star Wars has a shared voice actor.
Yes.
And that is Frank Oz, who voices Miss Piggy.
Oh, really?
Also a producer for this film.
Yeah, Frank Oz, he directs some of the Muppet episodes as well, and he's directed some of the films.
So Frank Oz, voice of Yoda, also voices Miss Piggy.
And Kermit.
That's great.
That's one of the biggest failings of modern Disney. Is that they own the Muppets as well as like Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Alien, like all of these like really cool things that would be great as Muppet movies, but they're not doing any of it.
No, not enough of it. Not at all.
Because it takes a lot of work.
Besides When Love Is Gone song, which I just watched, which, like you said, I agree, it makes so much more sense. It to that part of the movie, like because afterwards, obviously, he feels like crap. It's like there'll be something better, and then he just shows. Anyway, but yeah, it makes sense.
Hmm.
No, that was the past. But yeah, still it makes sense.
Hmm.
Do you know if there's anything else different from the full length version?
No,
No.
it's just that song.
And
Okay.
I gotta give plus because this had the original blue screened Disney logo with the.
Yeah, we were talking about
I
that
was
for the
like
Lion
that
King
classic
one.
so
logo.
happy seeing that logo for some reason. It was such a stupid thing. I was like,
Oh,
it-
fucking hell. It's like nostalgia kicking
yeah,
the
it
balls, isn't
hit
it?
me so much, and I was like, oh man, I could just feel like my brain juice is just so happiness. This is amazing.
It was just so nice not to see that fucking like CGI castle.
Castle.
It's like, oh fuck off. Let's do that.
I'll be
that
honest,
bit.
like when that appeared on my screen, I was like, I'm sure we spoke about this not too long ago.
Yeah.
And now you just jogged my memory.
It's such a small thing, right?
Mm.
But it means the world of difference, especially like when you see like that lasered out metal plating of like Kermit the Frog by Vince
Yeah.
Productions. I was like, damn, that was a throwback as well.
But
So good.
Once again, in the same vein of I'm getting really emotionally invested in this sock puppet with 2 ping pong balls. I'm getting misty-eyed over like a little castle that's just segmented into little stripes. I'm like, oh fuck, I haven't seen this in ages. And it's just like, come on, guys, it's shapes.
It's so silly, but so good.
Let's just chill out a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh god, I'm just kind of like running it back in my head. And it's just like all the little funny things, like when you go into like the market and stuff, and you just go all these people like selling stuff on stalls, and you got this weird French Muppet, and he's like, a boomerang fish, watch, and I throw it, it comes back to me. It's like, whoa! It's just so fucking funny for no reason.
Well, it's fresh. So that fresh, cool.
It was great because like it's because of the little like side jokes and in jokes, like when there's the carriage along and there's like the kid that's jumping in the back of the cart and it's like, hey, I'm getting stolen, help me.
And they're just
you notice, because as a kid you just notice it and it's like, huh, weird, and it's just funny. But obviously you get actually into meeting them with the actual story where you first see Gonzo and Rizzo, and it's like, hey, I'm Charles Dickens. It's like, wait, you're not Charles Dickens? What? And he's like, yeah, I am. Just look at my face and just tell I'm obviously Charles Dickens. It's like, okay. It's just like it don't even go into it too much, and just like, yeah, sure, why not? It's just for the sake of the story. We just say you are okay, but and just gets into it, and it's just like it works so perfectly.
I think
as a kids movie that adults like. So it's like I don't know how to do it. It was quite amazing to see how it just gets into it straight away.
Yeah, like how like there's even one like lots of parts like this, but for example, in terms of like great for kids, I think is when he's whispering, and Rizzo's just like, why are you whispering? What's dramatic? It's like great. It's just like it's obvious, but it's in the way they do it. It's just like, oh yeah. And I think it works well for kids.
Well, it's a decision to kind of make it a part of the story. Like you have a narrator.
Yeah.
And obviously, yeah, you failed storytelling 101 apparently. But like yeah, you have a narrator, and the narrator and his friend are trying to like see what's happening, and that's the B story, and that's the bit that the kids are like gonna click into, and them clicking into that gives them access to the A story, and it's like, and so when the A story starts going a bit fucking heavy, hey, we're going back to Gonzo and Rizzo. Like, don't worry about it. It's all good. I don't know, Rob. I don't know if you wanted to mention your little epiphany about Rizzo.
My little epiphany about Rizzo.
Rizzo is a former member of Film Club, it turns out.
Oh yes, yeah.
What?
Rizzo
Wait,
was
what?
John.
Rizzo's fucking John.
Oh yeah, all right. Is that an epiphany?
I thought like Rizzo was a bit like Really? He's like
Grizzo-
John
did-
and not Alec because of like how he questions the plots. I was like,
No,
how the hell
Alec
do you
is-
know
Alec
what
is
happens
better than
there if we're down here? Because I'm the narrator. I'm omnipresent. Well, that's how I know these things. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I'm the narrator. I know the story. He's gonna turn on the lights now. I was like, then he turns the screen and he goes, how does he do that? It's great. Gotta say, as a child, I never knew what fourth wall break jokes were. But I
Yeah.
already loved them as a child. But only when I'm later in life, I go, oh, that's what breaking the fourth wall is. It's hilarious, to be honest. But I
That's
didn't
the
know what,
important bit,
what there was a term for it. It's just great. It's like direct, like speak to camera. Amazing.
What you said there though is important because that's the only time that they work is when you go, oh, that's a full four. Like it's not when Deadpool goes, I'm breaking the full four.
Oh yeah, they don't actually mention
I
it.
knew
before,
I knew
but-
you'd go there.
Yeah, I could have worn my Deadpool jumper, but I thought for Alec's sake, no.
Nah,
Appreciate
do
it.
it.
It makes me think of the time in the movie where I was thinking, wait, the narrator's just jumped in with I see you. This is like at the part where Ghost of Christmas Future, or not, Ghost of Future came in. And it was just like, yeah, this is pretty scary. All right, y'all on your own.
Oh, see you at the finale. Yeah.
It's kind of a nice joke, but like, yeah, I get the criticism of it. Like, they've been holding your hand throughout, and then they've just gone like, well, here's the Grim Reaper, bye.
All of the interactions are so well set up. I think, like even that one where where Rizzo doesn't understand loneliness. And Gonzo's like, "What do you mean you don't understand?" And he's like, "Oh, I've got 14,000 brothers." And Gonzo's just like, "Yeah, I guess rats don't understand."
No, the bit that reminded me of John most heavily though with Rizzo was when he he like climbs up the gate and he's going like, oh fuck, oh god, oh no, and then he like jumps and he he like is buried in the stone. He's just like, oh man, I forgot my jelly beans, and then he just goes back under the bars and just picks them up and comes back. Sometimes like, I was like, oh god, I could so see John doing it. What'd you say?
Oh, whatever. Like, that was a perfect example. Anyway,
You were silent for most of that.
I'll say my might as well say my is it introduction?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we
Say
kind of
your
went,
piece.
we went over that.
We've kind of we've gone past that.
Yeah.
Well,
Go
I'll
for it
say
though.
Let him have his introduction.
it's anyway. Sorry, that's a great Ben joke. Anyway, so this is the first time I've seen it.
Really?
Oh,
This is also the time I've watched any version of the Christmas Carol, and I've
Whoa,
never read the
I'm so
story.
jealous.
And I've never read the story, so obviously it gets referenced so much. So I knew the gist of, oh, there's some kind of Scrooge who gets haunted, some ghost. I kept saying, "Ghost of Christmas Past." The Camilla's just like, "What are you talking about? You know the Ghost of Christmas Past." She was making fun of me, but she's like, "There's more than one ghost." It's like, oh, cool. You were making didn't know what I was talking about because I thought that was like one of the versions of it.
Focus, you tip camera
Sorry.
focusing on Ghost of Christmas Past. So it's like, well, what are you talking about? There's more than one go. And you said you hadn't seen you didn't know the story, so
Yeah,
I'm actually fucking astounded.
I just
Well-
knew some Scrooge is haunted, and then comes better and learns of his bad way.
Yeah,
It's-
shit
I
goes
mean,
down. Yeah.
I feel like it's such a big part of like culture now. Like there's even like I can't remember.
I'm surprised you've gone through like years of being in a British school and never come across it.
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
it's a bit weird.
Like we just never watched it. Like we watched Lion Witch in the Wardrobe,
I can never think of this
To be fair to Emmanuel, this is probably
or the
my
other.
first time watching A Christmas Carol in any form as well.
That's
But
mad.
But I've read the book. Like my granddad had like a whole book cabinet full of Dickens novels, and I came across that like when I was about 10 or 11 and read through it then. But yeah, like Emmanuel, I haven't watched any other versions of it apart
I'm
from
fucking
the
shocked.
Muppet one.
Yeah, it's weird because I know there was the Mickey Mouse's Christmas Carol. I remember watching when I was little as well, and I really loved that because Goofy was like Marley. It had a lot of, and
Yeah.
I think Scrooge McDuck was obviously Scrooge.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be,
Wouldn't
but
be
it was
anyone
just
else, would
like
it?
I just thought that was one of the early adaptations. But yeah, there's so
Which
many.
is funny because Mickey's on the
different ones.
higher payroll.
Indeed,
Yeah.
Mickey is indeed, but he plays against his type and plays
That is true capitalism when you have to pay somebody to act
Yes.
like they earn more than you.
Yeah,
Sorry.
like you.
Continue.
I'm trying to think of the other ones. I mean, I don't think you'd have seen. It's a really good unappreciated version was Scrooge with Bill Murray.
Scrooge is great.
I love
That's-
Scrooge.
That's pretty cool. I think Pat would like that.
That's a great film.
Yeah,
Scrooged.
Scrooge. Yeah,
Bill Murray is Scrooge.
I
and
mean, that sounds like it'd be fun.
And
Yeah,
it's directed by Richard Donner.
indeed, yeah.
Ah,
Ah,
So there's quite a few out there that are not just the conventional retelling of the old one, but
oh, well.
there's
Oh, man.
more good than bad.
I just researched it and I saw the name Forsyth. I was like, oh no, it's not the same one.
Bruce Forsyth.
Unfortunately, talking about that makes me remember one film I actually watched a while back that I didn't realize was such a very bad retelling of this. I can't believe I'm actually saying this. Have you ever heard of I think it's a Ryan Reynolds film, The Girlfriends of Christmas Past?
I know.
Oh, that sounds
It's-
terrible.
It
No,
was. I watched it because there were a bunch of friends, mostly female friends, and they kind of wanted to watch it because of who the main actor was, because it was one that had to do. It was like Ghosts of Girlfriends Past is I think what it's called, and I watched it. And I was like, why are we watching a Christmas movie when it's May? What the fuck is this shit? I'm
Well, that
so
sounds like
confused.
my nightmare scenario.
It was so confusing. It was a romantic comedy. I watched it. I was so confused afterwards. Just like, did I watch a romantic Christmas movie about a Christmas Carol? But it's not about a Christmas. It's like, it's one of those movies that I watched and I was like, I'm not angry. I'm just.
don't even say disappointed.
I'm not even disappointed. I'm just confused. I'm just confused. It was confusing just to watch it, and I was like, "Oh my god, what
Oh.
the fuck is this shit?" I could probably,
Girlfriend's Past sounds like a spin-off of Two and a Half Men.
it might as well have been. I don't know. It's just, it
Yeah.
was such a weird movie. If I could find it again and just give you the trailer, you can look at it, and you go, Simon. Don't
You
pick
know,
this.
he's probably teasing what he's going to be picking next year or
No.
something.
No,
Wait, ain't he in another one? Wait, what's the new Christmas Carol remake?
The one
isn't it
with
Elf
Jim
or
Carrey?
something, or Screwed or something like that.
Spirited.
Oh,
Wait, say that.
Spirited, which is on Apple TV, written by the guys who did The Great Showman.
Have you got a job with Apple TV?
Oh.
Fuck that.
I watched that.
Can't damn
Who are the
bollocks.
two main people in
Thanks, Ben.
Fucking.
it? Who are the two main people in it?
It's Ryan Reynolds and what's his name? Will
Yeah.
Ferrell. Will Ferrell.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
So-
this
Oh, yeah, I
sounds-
do actually want to watch that.
another adaptation of Christmas Carol.
It's basically another version, yes.
Was this
Which is
thrown in
just
a
another
lab
one
to
of those-
piss me and Rob off?
Well,
Yes.
that's the thing, like, is this just another one of those films where I'm like, oh, starring Will Ferrell and Ryan Reynolds, and it's written by the guy who wrote The Greatest Showman? Well, thank God, there's no reason for me to watch it.
Reiterate, it's a musical by the guys who did Great Showman.
God, does it? It's gonna. It's gonna end without him having learned like anything, and then they just do a song and they go, "It's okay," and then he just goes, "Oh, it's okay," and then he just carries on as normal. That's gonna
Yeah.
be that.
Well,
He's going to end exactly where he started, except he's going to sing a song about how he's, himself and how that's wonderful that he can be himself,
What?
even though he's got no barriers to be himself.
He just
so-
comes back to Bob Cratchit's house and he just
fuck
goes,
you.
"Hi, Bob." Anyway,
Get around about
walks
you
back
fucking
off
lazy
again.
bastard.
Well, I guess that's isn't that kind of the point? Like, but I'm so surprised that Emmanuel hasn't like seen like any adaptation of it, which is like the point, right? What we're going for is just like there's so many good and bad adaptations of this particular book, and it's like so hard to see it. But it's good to know that this is the first version he's watched, because this is a very like it sets the standard at a very high bar.
I think something else worth mentioning. I'm willing to lay money. This is probably the only adaptation who's actually going to have a character say at the end, "Oh, if you like this, you should go read the book."
Yeah.
Yes,
And
yes,
it's
I think
like,
that's just
That's
true
really
as well.
good for kids. Like actually having Gonzo say it, like very nice.
It's so wholesome.
It is.
Oh yeah. What the one that I watched and I thought was quite good was the Jim Carrey one.
Oh, I've not seen that.
Yeah, I did think that's a really good faithful one of the book. If you like, some of the animation is a bit like dated now, but overall it's a great story and great
I thought they
performances.
did as like a stylistic thing. I thought it was quite nice.
Yeah, it does a lot of good things and it's very, very faithful.
I was gonna say that was one of the ones that had certain scenes that were slightly better than this movie's version. But we'll get into that.
Objection. Misleading the call.
My dog
No,
stepped on a
not really.
bee.
No, my point stands, I think, but we'll have to get to the judge later. Dan, did you do your introduction?
No,
Do you want to do your introduction?
no.
I think
Okay.
he wants to do
Yeah, I'll
his
do
finale.
it. I'll do an introduction like 2 hours in. No. Yeah, I've got the same kind of thing as Ben. I remember watching this as a kid and having fond memories of it. And yeah, I don't remember the songs because there's like the one main song they sing at the end, and that was kind of the one that kind of sticks in your head. But the rest of them are quite.
There goes Mr.
They don't-
There goes Mr. Grimm.
Yeah,
We
Yeah.
both did the same one.
so good.
Fuck you.
Yeah,
Alec is the Scrooge of this chat.
And every
that's-
other chat.
Alec is the Marlies.
Yes, Alec is
Yeah.
The Marley song was actually really good though.
It's good to be heckling again.
Yes, there's such. The Marley song is definitely the. Oh,
That's so good.
which one is the best song you think then? Because like I really,
Oh,
it's just like 8 songs,
yeah,
9
One More
songs.
Sleep Till Christmas is fun.
Oh,
Well, the one
It's a
that
nice
makes
one.
me feel the most Christmassy is wherever you find love, it feels like
Where's
Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's a
Yeah.
lovely message.
Ghost
I
of
mean-
Christmas Present sings that.
Yeah, you are the one singing it.
yeah. I kind of had all the nostalgia hits and all that with that. The
Oh, what?
start of the
No,
film.
what's the one when? No, it is one, not one that will sleep till Christmas. That's a good one.
To
Just
be
the-
fair,
just the
the
little ice
entrance
drinky
of
bit.
Scrooge is great as well. Like
Yeah.
that's.
Yeah.
I was kind of listening to that this time. I was thinking, I don't know. This doesn't feel like it was written in 1992. Like it feels like you could go to like a brand new West End show and hear that now.
Yeah.
Oh, I even thought that was because I was making a joke about it's hey guys, show don't tell, screenwriting 101, isn't it? But I was like, well, no, because it's still kind of telling you things about this character because the whole city is united in getting in doing this.
That's a very classic Disney trope, though, isn't it? It's like
And it's like,
everyone is
that's a
talking
good-
shit about you.
But that's a good show because you're learning things about Scrooge from everybody, and the fact that we never focus on one character for that whole song.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, he's a fucking dick to everyone. And it's
That's
like
a
that.
musical thing.
We're
in
still
general.
we're showing and telling. That's pretty good. Like,
Yeah, that's a musical trope in general, though, isn't it? Like the first song is sort of this is the world we're in, and this is where we're starting from, kind of thing.
Yeah, but it's all centered on him, and it's like, yeah, he would. It's believable as well because he would be a controversial like figure and everything. I just think it's nice. Even like when he actually like speaking of like the Ghost of Christmas Present as well, I thought it was like kind of nice that he clearly quite likes him like very, very quickly.
Oh yeah,
and it's the most we've ever seen him. Well, I mean, it's the most warm we've seen him be to like someone new. Because like he was warm to sort of like Fozziwig and stuff like that, or like his old head teacher, but like he's met someone new, and like he's actually getting a bit sucked in. He's like, no, I like this guy, and he keeps telling jokes, and that Scrooge is like laughing, and he's like, I need to tell a joke back now. And so he comes back, and like the Ghost of Christmas Present, the guy's like, oh yeah, I've had like 1,400 brothers and sisters, and he's got to revert back, and he's like, I'm going to tell a joke now, and his joke is, cool, imagine the grocery bills, and it's like, oh, that's such a good Scrooge joke because that was based on monetary value, that was based on being it like just too much money being spent, and it's just like, oh, that was so good, like just that's his humor. And it's like, I really, really believe that.
Yeah.
It's really nice that the Ghost of Christmas Present also like laughs along with it, and it's like, yeah, that was a really nice little scene. That's probably my favorite scene, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I love the Ghost of Christmas Present. Like pretty much everything.
He's great.
He's so present.
Indeed he is.
Shut up. But I do also like that thing with the Ghost of Christmas Future though, where he has like his own little soundtrack, but like he doesn't speak, but he like the soundtrack kind of just has like a little note every now and then for when he speaks. So like he'll point and then it'll just go meh. And it'll just be this dead flat little tone. But I was like, this is so fucking cool. I really like I don't know, everything's just complementing each other like pretty much the whole way through, and it's yeah.
That's what I love about the Muppets. Like even the Muppet Show, like because it always just feels like you're hanging out with your mates. And well, maybe that's a reflection of like our humor as well, I suppose. But like it's that same kind of like, oh, everyone's coming together and we're just gonna like take the piss out of one another and and everything's fine.
Yeah, sorry, Rolf didn't get a big showing, did he?
That happens.
Isn't that kind of like the point of the Muppets anyway? Because like sometimes they would do something, and because their set is usually a bit old and crappy, that something happens and they have to play it off easily. I'm thinking about the scene when he's in the school. Yes, you have to be strong and sturdy as this building. The shelf falls down. It's like, I've been meaning to fix that. Yes, headmaster. Yes. They look around like he just does it really bad. It's just like, oh yes, it's perfect because it fits the theme of Muppets, but if it still progresses the story along as well. It's so
you'll still get it. This is what I was talking about with it balancing though, because you're still getting the information you need. Sam the Eagle is still the headmaster who talked Scrooge into like the mindset he's pretty much held as like a thing to be successful. You're still getting that, but behind that you've got Gonzo and Rizzo, and they're about to crush themselves against a bunch of statues, and they've got to like push the shelf back up, and then like they managed to push it all back down into a big slapstick thing. And it's like, as a kid, you're like laughing at Gonzo and Rizzo, but you still received the information you had to get to understand Scrooge, and it's like, this is really, really efficient. Like, I don't know. I feel like the Muppets. No, actually, I catch myself there. I was about to go like, oh, I think people don't take the Muppets that seriously, but I don't. I think Eb is the only person I know who doesn't like the fucking Muppets. Like,
yeah, Rachel doesn't either.
But
really, what the fuck?
Because they like The Great Showman.
I showed Rachel the.
Oh
Don't do it.
shit! If there was like a
Hold on.
Greatest Showman
Eb
version,
Hold
does
on,
not like the
that's-
Greatest Showman.
I like The Greatest Showman and I like the Muppets. So
You're lying to yourself. One thing.
nah,
if
not at all.
there was a Greatest Showman version of the Muppet where
No,
Kermit the Frog has to play
give 'em
P.T. Barnum,
ideas.
it just popped in my head. I was like, oh, that's such
Simon,
a
man,
weird thing to see.
Disney own the rights to The Greatest Showman. Please don't give them that idea.
Write it in.
we protest.
But sorry, but back onto
I'm
it.
going to
though.
tweet it.
We've talked
Fuck
about
off.
the Muppets, and you say seriousness, right? It's good that they're not serious because Michael Caine is always serious.
Yeah.
But that's kind of the point, because even when they're doing the first opening number, how much of an old grumpy bastard he is, and afterwards he stops as he just turns around and everyone like fucking like let's fucking leave, and he goes, it's like such a serious grumpy face of going. Humbug. It was so good because it plays off so well as well with each other. He plays it so straight faced, so angry as well, especially when it's like, yes, and how would you like to be unemployed? And they cut into, yeah,
That is my
he
favourite
played,
bit
yeah,
of
yeah. And it was like,
performance.
it was but it's that performance is so good because
Yeah, that was
he
great.
had to keep I don't know how he did it because he had to keep that fucking serious.
Sorry, I'm just seeing Rob wrestle with this. I'm just
What?
going like, oh god,
It's
I hate
so
this
good.
praise from Michael Caine.
It's so good though
Wow.
because like it's because he has to keep a straight face with all these Muppet characters in socks, right? Sock puppet things, and you got to keep yourself from smiling or doing something stupid, and you just go, have to be serious. Have to be serious. Michael Caine.
Go on, Rob. Let him
Go
have
ahead,
it.
go ahead.
No, this is the only film where I can accept that for Michael Caine, and I don't know if it's because it's kind of like the Mel Brooks thing, because you know that bit later on with the Ghost of Christmas Present where he says something like "You're a little absent-minded spirit," and then the Ghost of Christmas Present says, "No, I'm a large absent-minded spirit."
Yeah, that's a great.
Like, it's
That's
just
a great
like-
line.
You need someone like Michael Caine for that, because it's like, yeah, just kind of like completely straight. And yeah, this is the only film where I've ever felt any kind of sympathy for Michael Caine.
I miss
But one of
that.
my favourite scenes is like he's a big part, because it's a scene that really reminds me of me and Rachel. it's when Scrooge knocks on Bob Cratchit's door, and Bob Cratchit comes out, and Miss Piggy is like listening from behind the door, and he's doing that thing where he's like pretending that he's like having a go at him for not being there on Christmas Day and all of that kind of stuff. And then Miss Piggy just comes out like ready to have a fight with him. He's like, "I'm gonna raise your salary." And she's like, "I'm gonna raise you." It's just like that is so me and Rachel, because she's already got it in her mind that she's gonna have a fight with this guy, and then Kermit's just behind her like, what's going on?
But still, it still works, even as much as you have no sympathy for Michael Caine, because he keeps his face very serious, and all the scenes that he does are always gonna be fairly like serious scenes. When they do have the Muppets there, they go, okay, Michael Caine, too serious now. Bring in the Muppets, cut that seriousness
Send
down
in
by
the
half.
Muppets.
And it's like, but it helps. But again, it helps progress the story into the way it does. And
But,
it's so good
that's
because-
like that's a huge success of casting, I think, because that first scene where he's walking through the town, and everyone's going like, "Oh God, Michael Caine's here." That's exactly what I felt.
Okay. That's a bit harsh, but okay.
What's wrong with
And then-
Michael Caine?
That's the thing. Like, I'm starting exactly where all the Muppets are, thinking like, "Oh, he's such a bastard," and then by the end, I'm feeling sympathy for him, which is a huge win for the film. It's-
Does it annoy you to know that he sang that end song about making all the kids in town like nephews and nieces to him, and how he's going to treat everyone great and all that for the end of his days, and then he probably just walked straight off of set into a voting station and he voted Tory.
Yeah, that's the real tragedy of the whole thing. Is he played Scrooge, seemingly learnt some lessons, and then disregarded all of them.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but that's not the point of. Yeah, I mean, no, that is the point of the film. It's not the point of the actor, right? Yeah, he's just an actor. He just acts.
I'm not gonna dock it for purpose because I don't think the Muppets should be held accountable for Michael Caine's sins, but he definitely missed something.
I feel like I could give him credit where credit's due, though, because sometimes it is due. It's like when he is looking at his younger self, and he's like, "Yeah, it's time for, studying and learning, and it's time for this little pause, solitude." It's like a slight quiver in his lips and his break in his voice because he kind of like is lying to himself about it. I'm like, yeah, no, that's good acting. And afterwards, of course, it breaks. Then afterwards, bring out Sam the Eagle, breaks up the like seriousness, especially like when he's like,
bring in Sam the Eagle.
Yeah, because because afterwards, it's kind of like it goes kind of like dark and slightly like depressing because of thinking about it too much. But afterwards, Sam the Eagle does his scene and ends with him going, "Don't tip the coachman." And then it's like, okay, all right, okay, Jesus Christ. it's like, and it's like, all right, seriousness, Muppets. So again, it balances it out, and it progresses the pacing, and the pacing of the story progresses at more leisurely speed, but it's like it gets there, and it gets there very well, and I feel like that helps a lot, even with the super seriousness of his face and his acting. So it's like, oh yeah, it's fine.
I suppose I don't know.
I mean, okay, think of it like this then, Rob, because afterwards, when we have Christmas Present, Ghost of Christmas Present, who is like the happy Father Christmas ghost. It's just, essentially, that's how I see him. And he looks more Father, well, at least at the end. Even when he's doing the musical number, he's doing this, and he gets Michael Caine to do like a jaunty little dance thing, and I'm like, that's so weird looking.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. It's
Michael
weird.
Caine just do like a happy little dance thing, just
That's what I meant about
so
it being
it helps.
like. That's what I meant about it being like successful casting, because just seeing Michael Caine smile, you're automatically on the back foot. I guess.
Okay, I'm trying.
You hate him so much.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, you have like a lot of hate for Michael Caine. It's just like, okay.
I'm not his biggest fan.
I could tell.
And that's why I'm really grateful to Ben this week, because I was going to pick this, and now Ben has saved me from having Michael Caine on my record.
But no one saved me from being the first person to pick Meryl Streep.
Sure, doing
What's your issue with Meryl Streep?
Did you
She
choose
played
Mamma
Thatcher, that's
Mia?
why
What did
she
you
was-
choose?
Basically, she played Thatcher and she was in Mamma Mia.
The Streep.
Yeah.
Don't have one for that, do you? Although he did.
I might save you from being the first person to pick her film then.
He did just wreck me on Twitter. That was pretty good there, Pat. I'm gonna read it out. Pat said, "Hey, at Disney Plus, you own hashtag The Greatest Showman and hashtag The Muppets. Why not a collaboration?"
No.
And I said, "Go out into a field, find the biggest piece of shit you can find, and eat it for the rest of your life." And he said, "I'm not gonna eat you, Badger."
It was dumb. It was obvious. It was pointless. I loved it.
That's the most positive that Stadler and Waldorf are, like in any of these. So, like, yeah, I think that's a good. It truly is a Christmas film.
Yeah, I'll never tire of the Statler and Waldorf jokes. They're always great. They're always the same thing, but they're always great.
I think that there's so many just little personality types in the Muppets, and like they just I don't know. Not every Muppet gets used every time, but like they have like their sort of main cast, and like they just naturally just slot in, and it's like, oh, how do we get Sam the Eagle in? And it's like, oh, he's like the headmaster, and it's like, okay, fine. Who's Bob Cratchit? It's like Kermit. That's not even fucking hard, is it? Fezziwig. Oh, it's Fozzie Bear. It's writes itself. Like, but oh man, it's such a cool little film. Thank you for picking it, Ben.
Excellent.
Let's do favorite scenes. I've already done mine.
I think mine is like it's basically just a line. But I said to Alec earlier in the week that I think it's like the best payoff in cinema history, and it like just completely like it gets me every time, and I was in tears laughing at it. And it's just when Gonzo's like, oh, and Tiny Tim didn't die.
Oh, Tiny Tim.
I would like to give honorary mention to the opening song, and they do it twice, but they they kind of write themselves into a rhyming corner, and I'm like, go on then, what are you going to rhyme with houses? And they rhyme it. They come out to a little family of mice, and they go, it's especially hard for mouses. Yeah, and they do it again, but they call themselves Mises.
Yeah, they call.
But it's so stupid. But it's so great. Just to see it. But like,
I just keep looking at it and just kind of like, my dad wrote this. Fuck's sake. Oh, absolute tears.
Oh man, but there's so many good choices to choose from with this film.
I'd say my favourite scene is probably the Ghost of the Future with the Grim Reaper. I don't know why it always kind of stuck with me as a child.
I mean,
I don't know if it's because it's supposed to be like a scary thing where it's like, if you don't change your way, you're gonna die and everyone's gonna hate you and no one's gonna remember you.
I love how you just give him a dialogue.
I mean,
it's
Dan, in all seriousness though, that was kind of the point of his character, even in the books. So you're 100% right, but that's kind of it's like yeah.
I don't think he was criticizing that.
Oh, was not oh, all right.
No, I'm just saying the whole thing about it is like he's seen the present and he's like, oh yeah, I'm pumped now because I want to be a good person, and they kind of get shown in the fact of, if you don't change your fucking ways, you're gonna die and everyone's gonna hate you. And I think that just is such a strong kind of message, like to anyone who watches it, child, adult. It's like, if you go your whole life being like miserable or being mean to people, you're gonna end up lonely and no one's gonna remember you. But yeah, I think that one, yeah. And I think that kind of works really well with that, the scene what Rob said about where he knocks on the door and he's like, Bob Cratchit, get back to work. And he's like, but it's Christmas Day. It's like, and then
That was a lovely Kermit impression.
I wasn't prepared for Kermit. I was paraphrasing, but yeah, I think that whole bit, it's just so kind of, and it doesn't really have to say much to kind of get that idea across, where the ghost doesn't actually say anything, he just points. And he's like, show me your grave, and he just points, and he doesn't. It's just so well done in the fact that he just doesn't need to say anything. It's just
I do love that little bit though when he's pointing at the grave, and Scrooge is going, he's like walking toward the one he's pointing at, and then he like bottles it and he's like, this one?
Like,
he points at a different one and he's like,
angrier. Yeah. He pointed angrier. Yeah? I don't know how he point the first time he points, then the next time he's like, that one. I was like, did you show emotion on a face that didn't have a face? How did that work? It's just like pointing. Something about the body language.
Yeah, you don't need to see the face to convey that.
But I would say, go Emmanuel.
It makes me think a great shout out to Jim Carrey. He was big into that because of Charlie Chaplin as well.
Okay, yeah, that does make sense because but I would say this, talking about Jim Carrey, his version of the Christmas Carol for that particular scene, I think was slightly better than this one, mainly because I think it might have been because of Michael Caine, because
But people saw this version.
Michael Caine has to slowly wipe off the snow on the gravestone, right, to reveal that it's Ebenezer Scrooge. That's like I mean, narratively wise, you knew already it was. You didn't, because the whole point is that you didn't want to see your name on that gravestone, so you wiping the snow off, like, makes it like, haha, it was your name. But it's like, for the thing, it should have been like how do you explain it? And let me think how to explain it, because in the Jim Carrey version, the snow never actually like reveals his name properly. It like only like hints that it's Ebenezer Scrooge, but I mean, you obviously know it is.
He sees it. He sees enough to know that it's his.
Yeah, but he don't actually reveal the whole name, because it makes it like it's, in the most literal sense, set in stone. But the whole point of the story is it can change. So if you set it in stone by like removing the snow and seeing his name there already, it becomes.
I get what you're saying, but I do think for like a kid's comprehension, you probably do want to spell it out just like a little bit. I understand what you're saying, and like it probably is actually, from what you're describing, it probably is a bit more effective to have him scrub out enough and then go, oh fuck. But I think for a kid,
Yeah, okay, okay,
He's
maybe
spoiled
because,
out.
yeah, because it's a kids movie. Duh. Yeah, I mean,
I don't usually want to appeal to that, because people take that as it's a kids movie, so we don't have to try. And it's like, no, I don't.
No, it's
true.
I don't agree with that. But I think for like this kind of purpose, like I do think it's more, from what you've described, it's more effective to have him scrub enough off. But I think for just for this one,
yeah,
have him
scrubbing
scrub
one
the
off.
whole thing off and just make it.
Yeah,
you don't
okay.
lose anything by making
Okay,
it clear.
fair enough. I guess because it's still the Muppets, that it's more, it's more for that particular audience. So I guess that's fine, I guess. But favorite scenes, I guess, is, I don't know, like, I feel like with the ghost, I feel it's the scene. Okay, this is not really a scene, but it's the transition from like a chapter to 2 chapters. It's like the ending of the Ghost of Christmas Present to the beginning of the Ghost of Christmas Is Yet to Come, because it's like when he's slowly transitioning, because like Scrooge is hopeful, is happy, and he's like, and he's seeing that the Ghost of Christmas Past as well is fading away in the most literal sense with that weird glitter fade scene, right? And it's like, but it's like, even though he's like, as he says, I am literally dying, but I would like you to go off and know him better, man. And he still laughs at the end to be hopeful. And well, no, because even as he's literally as he's fading away, that last thing, he's still laughing and having fun, I guess. And it was a weird transition to it, because afterwards he's gone now, and it's quiet in the graveyard, and like then afterwards, like, it gives like the scene, it sets the scene because of the quietness. Then the next chapter of the scene happens, smoke. Then afterwards, as he's looking around for the smoke, that what was the name of the musical instrument that gives it that heavy vroom? Is it like a cello, or like, I can't remember?
Something like a cello.
Yeah, but it gives it that emphasis where you finally where he literally turns around and it's like fucking death is literally waiting for him. Yeah, and it just introduction of Ghost of Christmas Is Yet to Come, and you see him there. It's so good just to see him, because he is a bit freaky. Even as a kid, he was a bit freaky. Even now, it's kind of like, gives you heebie-jeebies. But it's like, as a kid, it's like, this is scary, kind of.
When I saw the Ghost of Future, I just assumed No, that's just a statue. The real one's gonna be behind you. I'm just gonna tap you on the shoulder or something. It's just like, oh, that's actually the ghost of why you got no face.
It's
the ghost of
death.
why you got
Literally.
no face.
I mean, that's the way that death has been portrayed, man. It's like the whole point of Christmas Future is death, right? It's always been you call him the Christmas is yet to come, but it's just death. It's just the whole point.
I'm
It's so
sorry.
fucking creepy.
I'm the god of Christmas Future. That's the god of dead foreskins. Come this way. Don't follow
What the
him.
fuck, man? Ew, gross.
That's what he looks like.
I mean, how many dead foreskins do you see?
I know they're going for creepy. And I was just like, but it just looks ugly.
I mean, it's death.
Aw.
So, yeah. I don't know what to say.
I think we can all agree that Ghost of Christmas Past is probably the weakest, like design wise.
But the Ghost of Christmas Past.
Oh, you mean the
Yeah.
child puppet thing?
Yeah, I
Oh,
guess
Child / not Muppet, but it's
I-
Muppet.
the Christmas past, yeah.
I like Barley and Marley.
Marley and Marley. I'll admit yeah, those scenes of the actual chains actually coming up from like hell with all the padlocks and stuff was actually a pretty cool looking scene as well. I was like, because it's like the chains that you had in life, and it's like all the sins. I was like, oh yeah, that's like it looks visually good because somehow they made the chains go around Michael Caine as well. And it's like that was a bit weird looking, but it was like
Somehow.
sure, sure, it's fine, it makes sense narratively speaking. It just looks odd because like you wrapped up Michael Caine
Michael
in chains.
They wrapped up
Fucking
Michael
hell.
Caine in case.
Michael Caine in chains or Michael Caine in chains, either way. But they wrapped him around
That
with
needs to
the
be
chains.
a band name.
Michael Caine.
It looked off, but it made sense narratively, so it was fine. It was
My
fine.
name is Michael Che.
My name is Michael Caine.
Right.
Maybe that's a wrestling.
Ooh,
A wrestler's name.
Michael Che.
Yeah. You can go up against Kane and get beat up.
Right. Favorite scenes. Who's got another one?
I've got another favourite quote if anyone's struggling for
Go.
something on the spot. It's just before the heat wave joke. It's where the rats are like, we can't do the bookkeeping because all our pens have turned to inksicles. And then the other says our assets are frozen.
That fucking heat wave joke is great though. Just kind of like, can we have another lump of coal for the fire? And he's like, yeah, he says that. and he's like, how would the bookkeepers like to be suddenly unemployed? Heat wave. This is my island in this. Oh, it's so many good, just little jokes just sprinkled in, and I see some films and they struggle to make 6 jokes in one film, and I'm like, man, come on, like this is how you do it.
Have you ever seen the Treasure Island one?
Yeah, I love the Treasure Island
I
one.
think my favourite is probably the Treasure Island one more, just because
My
there's so
favourite's
many.
probably the first film,
Wait, which one's the first one?
And it's made in like the 70s, but it's basically that Kermit tries to stop a restaurant selling frogs' legs from opening. It's brilliant. That's what the Rainbow Connection's from.
Oh, okay.
Rainbow Connection.
But the pirate one's great because there's a bit where they're on the boat, the rats, and they're having a fucking they're having a party.
Pleasure cruise.
Yeah,
Yeah,
having
right,
a pleasure
yeah.
cruise. And they've got like a little fucking like bar and they're all like dancing. It's just they're like the highlight of the film because it's always something really absurd and out of whack. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
great.
it's all pirates, and then there's just rats with like Hawaiian shirts and
Yeah.
sunglasses and cameras, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's Muppet Treasure Island."
Oh.
I've got a couple of favourite scenes, but they've all been mentioned.
Oh, okay.
Aww.
So like at the beginning of it, when he's like, "I'm Charles Dickens,"
Mm.
and that sort of whole little scene that had me hysterics to begin with. And then Rob brought up the Miss Piggy Christmas Day scene that was like him and Rachel, and that probably made me laugh the most in the whole film.
Great scene.
And one that Dan mentioned about the Ghost of Christmas Future. I just enjoyed that whole segment.
It was so serious, that segment. It was so good.
Yeah, I thought it was just so well done.
I think Miss Piggy's one of my favourite characters in this because, like, every time she's on screen, she's just hilarious. Like the bit where she's cooking chestnuts and eating them, I was cracking up.
Well, I was sitting there watching it, and I was like, "Fucking hell, one piggy's bad enough. Now there's fucking a litter of them."
Even the bit when they're like toasting Scrooge, and she's just like, "Yes, yes, no, Mr. Scrooge, yeah, yeah." Even though he is odious, malicious, evil, and badly dressed,
Yes.
and the daughters all go, "Oh."
And then afterwards, Tiny Tim is quickly enough to goes, "Yes, bless him and everyone." It's like, "Yes, okay, bless him and everyone." And it's just like, has to cut it off there because it's like she's going on too long about it, and like the food was getting cold, which is a thing. I guess I think I've always made that joke. It's like they were complaining about the food. I know people say grace right before they eat food. I've never seen someone break out into song before they eat food before. It's just a little like thing. I was like, is that thing
And
that
they
people
start
do?
eating the goose, and they go like, "Hey, this tastes like rat feet for some reason." And shit, actually.
I can imagine Rob having a sing song before he eats.
Oh, I'm open to it. I mean, I won't say that.
Will you eat? Will you at least eat singing fruits?
Yeah.
Okay. Again,
Oh,
I'm
yes,
no
tell me,
snob like
don't eat
Gonzo.
singing food.
yeah. I guess I always noticed that as a kid, even as a kid, I noticed it's like when we're actually doing this Swedish chef scene, and he lifts up the cloche, but the hands were human hands. I was like, why are the hands human hands? And they're like, I know. Even as a kid, I asked that question. I was like, Simon, don't worry about it. It's just part of the movie. Oh,
Don't
okay.
worry, Simon.
Okay, but the hands are obviously people hands. It's like they're not Muppet hands. It
He
doesn't
was a-
matter. It doesn't matter.
He was a
It's like,
fabric puppet, but he had human hands. Ah,
Mm.
Simon, it's
That's the
okay,
thing.
don't worry.
It confused me a bit. But then everyone said it doesn't matter, Simon. It's fine. Okay, I guess.
But that's what the Muppets get away with that like a lot of other things can't because, like I said, like the Statler and Waldorf jokes are always the same, but they're always funny. The Swedish chef is always doing the same thing, but he's always funny as well.
Hmm.
And it's like it's always the same thing, just in like slightly different context, but it just works every time.
I was like when he's going like English food, wee, and I was like, no bullshit. English food isn't green. It's grey. It's grey and fried.
But then again, you go to talk about favorite Muppets. Animal is there. Animal is definitely like, I don't know. which one
Animals
is
here right now.
No, I see Dan Moore as Sam Eagle. He's got the same attitude as Sam Eagle.
But it's yeah, but okay. It's like, but you have Animal who goes crazy on the drums, but you see him, he starts off with him just playing the triangle like ding, and he's just like looking at the drums with such intensity. I was like, play yeah. Just hit the triangle one more time. Ding. It's like, oh, it's not the same. And it's just like it just really it gets to him till he goes and he starts breaking out the drums, and it's like, all right, all is well in the world because he can start playing these drums again. But
It's one of those things where it's like again, you kind of forgetting the Muppets aren't real, but he's just kind of like animals. Animals kind of an actor. So, like he's clearly been like asked to do something like, okay, we're going to do like this Victorian party. Okay, so you got to do music befitting the time, and he's having to just do the triangle, and he's like. Just has to go crazy, and it's like, yeah, there you go. That's about. He did like 3 hits of the triangle before going crazy. That's just animal. Sorry.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's a shame that Scooter doesn't get more of a look in. Really, I never see Scooter.
Yeah, he wasn't in this at all, was he?
When I watched the Muppet Show, like the episodes, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? Because I'd only seen Muppet Treasure Island and this.
Yeah, he's in the show a lot. He's
He's like a pivotal part of the show, and it's
To
like,
be,
what the
to
fuck
be
is
fair
Scooter?
though, his original puppeteer died the year that this came out.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that. Oh, was that John Hurt? No, wait, Jim
John
Hurt.
Hurt. I don't know, to be honest. Let me have a look.
There's a dedication at the beginning.
It's for Jim Henson. If
No.
for the decade.
There's another
Richard
there's another
Hunt.
person. Richard Hunt. Fuck.
That's oh. Because
Oh, yeah.
because this is the first movie that came out after Jim Henson passed
Yeah,
away, I
that-
guess.
That
Yeah,
is
I think
that is
so,
Scooter.
yeah.
Oh, I didn't realise that. Oh, that's made. Yeah, that's tied up a little mystery for me. Thank you.
So 2 random things.
And he voiced Stad that and Beaker. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. 2 random things. There's probably many kind of things you could reference, talking or singing vegetables, and then like on them and stuff. But one show I used to watch on and off growing up, is more American, was actually VeggieTales.
VeggieTales.
Yeah, no, Eb showed me some of these.
Yes, babe. That makes sense. Eb showed you, yeah. Eb, probably, yeah.
Oh my god.
Basically was vegetables doing all like the famous tales of the Bible.
Oh,
What?
that's what it is. Oh.
Like a broccoli doing like the back.
Okay. Before we get into this, what vegetable was Jesus?
Wait, Emmanuel. These VeggieTales. I found a picture where 2 of them look like me and you.
Share it, Rob. Share it right now.
I've just
Okay.
sent it to the chat.
Okay, let's have a
I have a feeling that you're the.
I've seen them in memes before. Oh, I can't remember the meme that have the cucumber and the tomato.
What the
Yeah, that's you
What
too.
the fuck?
What the fuck?
For anyone who's not. Oh fuck. Nah, fuck.
No, you can't read
What?
it. It's fine. What's it?
The fuck? The fuck are they?
They were kind of like, oh, what was that meme template? Oh, it's gonna drive me mad.
Is it the one with the broccoli and it's? Oh no, I know which one you're talking about. It's like let's introduce
No,
ourselves.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Let's just introduce ourselves.
I thought you were going to talk about the one that's the broccoli, and he's like, sometimes it's not your turn to talk.
That would be the John one.
I just speaking of Scooter's voice actor who does Beaker. I just remembered that's actually another contender for my favorite scene. It's when Beaker gives Scrooge his scarf.
Oh, that
Yeah.
was.
I actually teared up a little bit at it, and it's just like he's just heard like just how much Scrooge is going to donate, and then he's like, oh well, we need to give something to you, and he just goes like, meow. And he like just gives him the scarf, and like Michael Caine just looks like genuinely kind of like,
Well,
I don't remember the last time I've been given a gift. Oh my,
yeah,
fucking
that's
God.
yeah,
And it's like, oh,
yeah, that's. It's generally sweet. It's
poor
shit.
Beaker, what a guy.
Second,
Oh, okay.
my favorite scene. I think my favorite scene anyway. But yeah, another random thing, I doubt anyone would know the guy, but when Kermit the Frog sings, that's how a famous modern day jazz guitarist, or no, funk guitarist called Corey Wong sounds when and he almost never sings. And it's the reason why he doesn't sing is because he sounds like Kermit the Frog. When he-
Oh,
He also looks a bit like Kermit the Frog.
Humphrey, honestly, it's chilling. I feel like I'm in the room with Kermit the Frog.
Otherwise, he makes great music, but yeah, he's like, yeah, this is why everyone tells you not to sing. It's okay. But the one song, no one else would do the song, and they was like, "No, but you have to do it because it's about you." And he's like, "But why me? I can't." Oh, the VeggieTales thing.
That was me and Emmanuel when I picked Train to Busan.
I think you've broken Alec.
Say that again.
This is perfect. That the tomato is called Bob.
I'm speaking Korean.
Oh
film.
yeah, it's the time for School Bob. Oh yeah.
Bob, say that again.
I said that was me and you when I picked Train to Busan.
Train to be.
Busan.
Train to
Busan.
Busan.
Train to
Busan.
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 Oh, that's a great one. He was like, Merry Christmas, something, Bob. That's
And to all a good night.
Yes.
Oh, fucking hell.
I think. Oh, Alec. I think my favorite one. There's lots of good things, but I don't know. I think the thing that made me, I don't know, laugh the most, or one of my favorite ones, is the one where he's jumping. He's like, I hate two things the most in the world. One is heights, and one is jumping from them. He's like, ah. He's like, oh, missed. And then, like you said, he just goes back through for the jelly beans. And that same time when he's going through, I was like, wait, you could have just fit through the bars. And then he's just like, you can fit through the bars. Yeah. Problem. Oh, whatever.
You just reminded me of another bit that I really love. And it's like it's not clever or anything. It just really cracks me up. It's the bit where Rizzo kisses Gonzo's nose.
That was so weird.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
kisses him out of nowhere.
What?
And you're like, what?
It's just one of those things that just like you just get that they're like just friends, they're just really close friends. Like I've made that sound weirdly romantic, but like they just have a bit of a fucking just like a tense moment. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And it's just, it's just really funny.
The bit that always stuck out in my mind was the bit where he falls from the pole into the water.
Mm.
He's like, I'm free, and he picks him up, and he's a fucking ice lolly. Just smashes him.
Just think there's just so many. Just again, like just having them be the B story. Just like, what's our narrator doing? And it's like, oh, he's just had to chuck Rizzo in some ice water because he accidentally set his tail on fire. But it's okay. He's just smashed him out of the popsicle, and they're fine again. Just that whole thing. Just there's just so many little jokes. It's just like, it's just always so funny. It's just matter of fact as well. Like Gonzo's not worried about Rizzo or anything. He's just like, we've done this before. It's fine.
Oh man, it's wonderful.
More Muppets, please. That's
Yeah, because some of the like just little side jokes are so like clever actually. Because like especially like even from the beginning and the end, there's like the bunch of rich dudes who are just pigs in top hats. I feel like that's such a very clever commentary about it. I was like, oh right, yeah, because it's like greedy people who care about their own money and status and food. And I was like, that's such a very that's one of those very clever commentary jokes. Then afterwards, it goes to the next part of that scene where Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come points to the scene, and it's like, all right, yeah, they're all vagabonds, but what are they? Oh, it's a spider, newts, and they're vermin, right? It was so well made to that point. It's to see how it's sort of, I don't know how to describe it, because
Well,
like
the first line in the film is you come in on these two pigs, these two businessmen pigs, and the very first line is he goes, "That was a lovely breakfast," and he goes, "Yeah, so what should we do now?" And he's like, "Lunch. I was thinking lunch." He's like, "Wonderful, yes, let's do that." And it's like, even if you don't laugh at it, you then get like kind of a sense of the tone we're going for. It's like, why did they say? Oh, because they're pigs. Okay, fine. And then just from that point, you go, "Yep," and you kind of like you're already kind of set. You already kind of know what kind of joke you're in for. Sorry, I interrupted you. Carry on.
No. Yeah, you pretty much have said it. What? Oh, Christ. So you have like, it's just a bit of a stretch there. It was like, you've said pretty much what I was gonna say. It's like it gives the whole, even at that beginning scene, it already sets up what would happen and how it would happen, because it seems to set the mood for this movie, because Manuel said he's never watched this before, right? And like, I guess, did he? Emmanuel, have you ever watched? Oh, I think he's. How much Muppets have you watched beforehand?
I was like, Jesus.
At different points in my life, mostly the TV show, and then like maybe one or two movies.
So I guess you've not what this is, like you said, this first time you've watched this film, but so kind of, you already had like you had an idea of what sort of characteristics the Muppets were, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Because like, wait, did you watch like the old Muppets where they're like, where Kermit is angry a lot as well?
I really
good one. So I saw a mix.
Okay, fair enough.
I really feel for Kermit in those Muppet episodes, because it's like, I don't know. I feel like that was most of our uni years, was me just trying to wrangle people into just doing like organized things. Like, everyone just being so fucking weird that you just couldn't communicate to them what you wanted them to do. Like, it's just this one guy in the middle just panicking, going like, "We need to do all this together to make the show work," and everyone's going like, Excellent.
I missed what you were saying about the how did the pig set the kind of tone of jokes? Did you say?
No, I just mean like they don't spell like the joke out for you, but you have like the dialogue is, "That was a lovely breakfast. What do you want to do next?" And his friend goes, "Lunch." He goes, yes, lunch. That'd be great. And it's just kind of like, oh, what's the joke there? And it's like, they've just come from breakfast and they're going to go directly to the next restaurant. It's like, oh, why is that? And it's like, oh, it's because they're pigs. They just eat a lot. And it's like, yeah,
Nice.
nothing about that had to be stated. But just in those two little lines of dialogue, it's like, yeah, there you go. And it's just, this is the level of humor we're dealing with.
Yeah,
so then when you have someone like immediately, like the next one after is the French guy with the boomerang fish. it's just so fucking absurd and out of nowhere. It's like, oh, we're in for some cerebral humor, and it's like, no,
as soon as you had the kid going, "Help me, someone's trying to take," I'm like, what is going on? So much madness. And then it ends with the boomerang fish. I'm just like, I've seen it all.
It's even just little bits, like when Scrooge is trying to get rid of like the wreath that his nephew's left on the wall, and then he's like getting mad at things, and then he's just thrown the charity people out, and then he's got like the little caroler who's like the little bunny, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And he's just like, "Penny for the song, sir, please." And he's like, "Fuck off." And like he just slams the door in his face, and he's like, "And now for this wreath." And he's like, "Oh, hang on." And he opens the door and he throws it at him. It's just like
I felt funny.
even he gets a little bit of there's the Michael Caine's got to be the grumpy dour Scrooge man, but he is also getting to do like some physical sort of humor as well, and it's like
Wait,
Rain.
Emmanuel, did you say you felt sorry for the bunny rabbit?
Yeah.
No, don't be. The people who made them hated him.
I don't know if I'd say that.
No. From what I remember, people talk about it's like they made him and they say he's so cute. He's too cute. It's annoying how cute he is. So they decided, let's put him in situations that aren't cute and he's like always in pain or something. Yeah, if it helps. But the property is like he's getting beaten. He got beaten up. He's in the poor snow, shivering as he's like dying there. He gets hit by the reef, and I was like, fucking perfect, exactly what I wanted. This little cute little bunny rabbit deserves all this shit because of
He must
how
be
cute he
destroyed.
is. And it's like, oh, okay, that's nice, I guess. Well, no, that's not nice, I guess. But like, sure, if that's what you want to do it, that's the way you do it.
That's me.
Now, what was I going to say? Oh shit, what was I going to say?
Well, I feel like we've got some things off our chest.
No.
How you doing, Ben? You all right?
Good.
Awesome.
Mm.
You done? You done your favorite scene?
No, I haven't thought about what one it would be actually. Obviously, we've kind of all like talked about all the best bits already. Like it's like like Scrooge's entrance and like every moment with like Gonzo and Rizzo and Ghost of Christmas Present. He was great. Trying to think what hasn't been said yet that has a great moment.
It doesn't have to have not been said before.
Let's try. I think yes. Probably. Obviously, in this sequence where the Ghost of Christmas Present shows everyone about shows Scrooge mainly about his the way how the world is as it is. And I think just seeing like the Bob Cratchit, Kermit's family, and little Tommy Tim in their little home was probably just a quite poignant scene, and it just like was a perfect alliteration of the original story. I felt that part was, and it's referenced again. Obviously, then goes to Christmas Yet to Come shows the future without little tiny Tim. Yeah, those two. Every scene in the Cratchit house was great. I just love those moments. I thought they were just really cute and funny. And yeah, they had the spirit of the book and the spirit of the Muppets.
Ghost of Muppet Spirit.
Yes.
Okay. Right. Have we got any closing thoughts on the Muppet Christmas Carol?
It's good.
I'm talking to AI right now.
Bar humbug.
Oh God.
It's big comfort to me, friends.
Crumb of cheese and the just beef.
Cheese is for the missus.
A fucking piece of Parmesan. Fucking hell, Jesus Christ. Like, gonna give him like, a nice piece of cheese. Give him some fucking Parmesan cheese. Sorry, that's just the thing I noticed because, like, it's like, all the type of cheese you give you, Parmesan is so hard to eat. And it's just one of those. How long did that turkey take to cook? Because like the Cratchit house is kind of small, and that fucking turkey is bigger than their fucking oven, a little like fireplace.
Bigger than Tiny Tim.
That was funny. It's like the bunny's carrying this huge freaking turkey. And yes, and the way they did it so that he has to look up to see where he's going before he actually starts walking. I'm like, that's great, you know?
What about the fact of fucking Scrooge home invading everyone? He just walks in their house, gives them stuff, and he's like, oh, and the people are like, what the fuck is this place? He just walks in.
I mean, they
walks to
know.
the next thing.
We're trying to
mean-
get into that small place. You let all the warm air out. Think about the importance.
Emmanuel, was he wearing the right shoes?
Oh,
It
he had no consideration for anyone's heating bills, so it's actually very topical.
We did give him a raise, so
Yes.
Yeah, and he even got some extra coal for his bookkeepers. Which isn't really a much of a present. It should be a very standard thing for him to do because he doesn't want to freeze to death. But you know, him being him, it's like, yeah, give me a present. Your ability to live. That's what your fucking present is. It's like, oh shit, fucking hell. All right.
To be honest, back then it really would have been a gift.
yeah,
Okay, true. But like,
because it probably was
it's-
quite expensive.
And they were very tight.
For my bookkeepers, I give you fossil fuels.
They didn't care about global warming back then.
Or now, arguably. Woo.
Yeah. They didn't exactly know the effect, so yeah, wasn't really
They're
into
just worried about dying from day to day.
that was the main concern. Will we have enough money to eat in heat?
I was going to say, is this film's actually quite topical at the current time? Think about like the people not being able to eat and heat themselves. It's like, fucking hell, we've gone back to the fucking Victorian era.
actually, I guess that's one scene that they didn't add to the book from the book that they couldn't add to this because it would be too messed up. I guess there's a scene in the book where he's in the future and he's talking and he asks him, take me to a place that people are happy and joyous, and that like there's a family and they're in the house celebrating. It's like, oh, it's so great because Ebenezer Scrooge is dead. We don't have to pay off our debts. It's so great that this guy's dead. And there's like, oh, that's not exactly a good message to send to your kids. I guess you shouldn't really wish death on your debtors. I guess, but it's like, so I guess they couldn't really add it in. It adds character to the characters, I guess. Sorry, I guess I could have phrased that a bit better, but like, yeah, it adds character to the characters. If we had that scene,
I could have phrased that better, but I'm going to do it again.
again, yes.
Now I have a second opportunity. I'll do the exact same thing.
I still couldn't think of a better way to phrase it. This again, it is the thing that, as Gonzo said right at the end, you should definitely read the book because there's a lot more details, a lot of things that they changed out, and it gives it. There's more stuff you can read and see about it. And it's like, all right, yeah, it does set up. There's one thing I was thinking.
Fuck reading.
The scene where he's in the future, it is raining, right? It's not snowing, right?
It's raining.
No.
Yeah, because I guess that's kind of the point. I guess that also says this because like when it's actually Christmas, it's snowing and it should look very Christmassy. But when it's just rain and it's supposed to look like sad and depressing, right? That's kind of what they're going for.
Mm.
Is that what they're going for? I'm not sure.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do like this sort of approach to an adaptation, though, because like I don't know, I don't really like judging adaptations by like how faithful they are, and this is just sort of straight out like, yeah, we're doing a Christmas Carol, but like we're not trying to be a Christmas Carol. This is a different thing.
No, we're the Muppets. And
Yeah,
then
but-
basically we're the Muppets and we're doing a Christmas Carol, deal with it.
But it becomes a question of like if we use Muppets to make other film, as in other famous like books, and how they would make that adaptation. Like, could you imagine like the Muppets version of The Great Gatsby or of Mice and Men?
There is actually there's a screenplay of the Muppet Great Gatsby. It's really good.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
They need to make it.
Wait, who's Gatsby? Is it actually a person or is it like a
let me
Muppet?
find it. I'll
It's Michael Caine.
Ow.
It's
He
Sean
would
Connery.
actually Rob would be fine with that if he's Gatsby because he fucking dies at the end. It doesn't matter.
No, Gatsby's
That's
multifaceted.
very rude.
Kane won't be able to deal with it. Kablam.
I'm just thinking of like, could you do a Muppets version of Mice and Men? It'll be really fucking awkward when he does this.
I would
Oh.
love. I would give a
Oh my God,
bollock
that'd
to
be
see
awful.
that iteration of Mice and Men. That'd be so fucking funny.
just
It's a good-
I've just pasted it in the chat so you can read the screenplay
The
there.
fuck? What? Oh,
Oh,
my
sweet.
God, Mice and Men. That was a
When was it
fucking
written?
wonderful read.
Muppets present The Great Gatsby.
Uh,
Why didn't they make this?
oh yeah, the
Oh,
what-
101.
I think
Oh. Sorry, I just said thinking.
Which fan, Emmanuel?
Alec, you were saying who?
Yeah.
So me and Rob were talking about, well, actually, he hasn't tried it yet, but OpenAI's Chat GPT, which I was saying can do like lots of stuff. So I just decided, okay, let me ask it what it would recommend.
You asked an AI what film we should pick for film club.
I was just curious what it would say.
Hmm.
It says some good films. I mean, I wouldn't watch Shawshank Redemption again.
No,
Godfather, yeah. Social Network, interesting. Mad Max Fury Road, yeah. Moonlight is the only one I know nothing about.
Mm.
Oh well, stay like that and you will see.
Rob will like this moon.
Hmm.
Oh, that's
Right.
great. Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
It's good.
It good.
right, Pat.
17's a better number. Yeah.
Pat, what's your Christmas pick?
Going from one good Christmas pick to the Christmas pick,
Uh-oh.
I'm picking Die Hard.
We already had the Christmas pick.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, we did.
Only one the Christmas pick, and I'm picking it.
No, I agree with the first part of what you said, but Ben already picked it.
So,
Nah, mate.
so you're picking Lethal Weapon 2.
No,
Ugh.
no.
Oh.
Wait, what?
Just on that quickly, right? So Die Hard's our last pick of the year, which means it's awards season, and I'm going to do it a little bit different this year. So I'll quickly share my screen just to show you what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. because-
On that note, I'm a bit disappointed that I'm having to pick Die Hard this week because I'm going to have to watch it a week earlier than I usually do.
Well, you can watch it
Just watch it
today.
twice. It's fine.
Yeah, watch it 10 minutes before the call.
I mean, I'm working next Saturday,
Excuses.
so I can't really do that, and I tend to watch it after midnight on Christmas Eve.
Oh.
Is that like-
was. You've made me break a 15-year tradition.
What's this?
So this is the form that I'm
Who
going to
dis?
send round to everyone.
Who is
right?
this?
Who this?
So before, Simon, what we used to do is we used to nominate something each for each award, and then we'd vote on the nominations. But this year, I'm going to do it a bit differently. So we get 3 nominations each, all straight into the form. The first nomination that you pick gets 5 points. So it's like a first choice. The second gets 3 points, and the third gets 2 points. So we all get 3 nominations each, but depending on what your first, second, and third choice is, they get a different amount of points. And then at the end, I'm going to total up all of the points that we've nominated, and whichever has the most points for each award wins the award.
Can I just ask a question on this? Do we have to do
Oh.
3 different sheets, or can we do it all on the one sheet?
Oh yeah, all on the same sheet.
Oh, okay.
None of my films are going to win anything.
So-
this year.
So when I
No, your films will win the worst fucking thing award.
so when I
Rob.
do
Oh,
first
sorry.
film, worst films, I just put in like in order,
Worst
like
film.
first, second, third.
Yeah. So however you want to do it, like if you want to go like 1, 2, 3, that's fine.
Okay.
Or if you just want to go 1, 2, 3, that's fine. Like as long as it's obvious for me, like which order it's in, I don't really care how you do it.
Cool.
Rob, can you send me the link to it? I'll do it now.
Yeah, I'll send it. I'll put it in the chat now, and if anybody wants to do it early, that's fine. But yeah, if you do it like if you feel like you can do it now, then that's fine. But yeah, if you do it after Die Hard,
Yeah,
then
so worst film, Die Hard. Worst actor, Bruce Willis.
Ben, I'll sell you a ticket tomorrow.
Wait, are you
I
guys
wonder where that
actually
was
going?
going. I'm thinking like, Ben, I'll sell your soul tomorrow. So holy
Sell
fuck.
your soul for a donut.
That got dark.
Please don't talk about souls, because I don't want to make a ginger joke.
Oh.
Good.
Oldest joke in the
also
book.
just on the awards quickly, we need to work out when we're